Hi, everyone, and welcome to Perkabark. I'm Zach,
And I'm Rachel.
and we're happy that you're here with us to leave the old week behind and start fresh with music, coffee, and conversation.
It's been a hot minute since we've done this. So.
And we know that we're on the wrong time and day and all of that.
Yes.
Because our computer didn't really want to wake up either for yesterday's show.
It was definitely on a break.
It was on a break.
According to Ross, not Rachel.
I guess so.
Yes. Well, we're so happy that we're back. Please feel free to let us know what you've been doing in our hiatus in the comments. If you've discovered a new piece of music that you really like, if you've discovered a new coffee that you really like, or if you just want to say hello, we're happy to hear from you.
Yeah.
Today we have...
Coffee.
Well, yes, but what's our theme for the day?
Fresh start.
Fresh start.
Yeah. I'm just making sure that we're actually live. Okay, we're live. Good.
It's been a hot minute, gotta make sure everything's cool.
Yeah. So since it is still January, we're saying today is all about starting fresh for the new year. And what that means for us in terms of the coffee that we've tried is, first of all, it's beans from a roaster that we love to go to, but we've never gotten beans from before. Mm-hmm. And we took one of our tried and true methods and we fiddled around with it, and we ended up finding out that we could make it taste even better. So
that's right.
So that's what we did.
Yeah.
And in terms of singing, what does it mean?
In terms of singing, there's been so much, I feel like there's been so much fresh start and growth and reset in the past, month especially, just in our hiatus. Some really cool things are happening as far as, coaching and what we're ready for. So for me, at the insistence, at the I don't know what word I'm searching for. The brilliance, I will say, of a coach that I'm working with. He said, why don't you shake things up a little bit? So that's exactly what I'm doing with my music, with my repertoire right now. So we thought that would be a good
thing. Yeah.
Yeah, to talk about and what that means.
Yeah. And yeah, exactly. So how did, because it's not just like, choose new crap. Now sing that.
No.
That's great. So what does it mean?
Well, there are so many people that are hopefully in your corner as far as your career goes. People in your corner means your support system, all of you lovely people, and in your corner professionally as well. Your coach, your teacher, conductors, what else? All those wonderful things. Directors.
Past teachers, everybody that has some sort of interest in watching you succeed.
Mm-hmm. So these are people that you hopefully love and trust, and there are a lot of opinions out there as far as what repertoire you should be singing. So for me, I take that to mean this is gospel. Okay, I need to learn this and put it in my body and present it right away. Which for some of those things, that is good. That's definitely a good thing. But I had to sit down and figure out, okay, what are 5 attributes that I do seemingly better than everybody else? What sets me apart? What do I think I do really well? And then your repertoire should follow, at least your A-list, that first, 5 to 8, 8 to 10 pieces of music that you're generally going to present for an audition. The B list will still have those attributes, but it's, more competition pieces. And that C list, that big, big, big long list, goes for anything that those people have suggested that maybe you want to look at, but might not necessarily be one of those, like top 8. Oh man, that reminded me of MySpace real hard.
Top 8?
The top 8.
I don't do MySpace.
That just took me back. Just like our Fresh Start advertisement that we had.
Look at that the 90s.
Yeah, that took me back real hard.
It did.
So yeah, that's what I'm working on as far as fresh start in music.
Mm-hmm.
And we had that nice conversation about that as well, and we were like, oh, okay, well, what do I see in you? What do you see in yourself?
And we definitely came up with some things for one another that the other person was like, oh, I guess that makes sense. And having that conversation and you getting that homework assignment opened up the us taking a look at some of the things that we have done in the past, some of the things we've sung in the past, and some things that we've never sung before because we have either said, "Oh, I'm not ready," or "That's not my type, my voice type, or my physical type, or whatever." And instead, we're thinking now more. Both of us are thinking more in terms of what do I do, and how, and what pieces of music fit those things really, really well. So we're still figuring it out, and the stuff that we have to sing today may or may not actually make it onto any of those three lists, really. But they're things that we're having fun exploring. So they're pretty much brand new pieces for both of us this week. I don't think either one of us has presented either of these on the show before, or in public in general.
No, I haven't coached it. It's super new, and we love to let y'all in on our process. That's what coffee is. That's what singing is. That's really something that we've tried to stay true to with the show.
Yeah.
So today is no different.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So do you want to go first? Do you want to talk about coffee? Should I go first? What's happening?
Let's do a little singing, then we'll talk about the specifics of our coffee.
Cool. Who's singing? Mine's really long. It's like 9 minutes long. Do you want to do it now, or do you want to do it later?
I'll go first then.
So what are you singing?
Oh, right.
What are you doing?
Okay, let's go. I am singing Jeudi, which is Micaela's aria from Carmen by Bizet. So you probably don't 100% think about Micaela when you think of Carmen, because guess what? Oh, you think of Carmen.
Oh,
yes.
Yeah.
Of course. And Micaela, this is usually done it's a good debut role.
Yeah.
So if you'll see a lot of debuts at the Met with Frasquita or Micaela, because it's an aria and a duet. Then you're done. You collect your check, go home, say thank you very much. So I'm doing
people
her
clap
aria.
politely for you. They don't clap as big as for
yeah,
Carmen, but you're there. It's fine. It's nice.
Yes. So she's not my favorite character because I like the really strong, like heavy-hitting characters. And she's a little bit of a complainer, I'm not gonna lie.
She is.
She is, yeah.
What's she complaining about today?
Oh, so she is in love with Don Jose, and Don Jose is head over heels for Carmen. So, that already just puts her down in the dumps. And she follows Don Jose because she thinks that he has been taken by the smugglers, which he's running after Carmen with the smuggler. So he's trying to find her, and she is chasing after him. It's a whole train going on. And so this is Micaela in the smuggler's cave hold, the place that they are in, and she's very afraid, obviously. And she is in love with Don Jose, and so she's telling herself, she's asking God for courage so that she can go get him, which I actually really like. But, the rest of her just, she doesn't quite make it. It's just, you feel bad for her.
But she's also a little bit of a complainer.
I know.
All right.
So while this music is beautiful, this might be on my C list. It might be. We'll see. Here it is.
Oh, okay.
Michaela.
Goes on my A list. Michaela.
That's cute. Yes, so that is Michaela.
There it is.
Half of her role.
That's half of it right there.
Done.
Dusted. No problem.
Right?
Should we talk about coffee today?
Let's do it.
Yeah. So we have this beautiful coffee called
In tiny mugs.
In Tiny Mugs. And it's in tiny mugs for a very specific reason.
Yes.
But it's from a coffee shop, coffee roaster
Mm-hmm.
called, I almost said Groundswell. That was weird. It's from
Moving back
a
to
coffee
Chicago.
roaster called
Rival
Brothers. Gone now. Okay. And this is a blend of theirs called Featherweight.
Mhm.
It is not decaf.
It is not.
No. But it is pretty light in body.
I agree.
It's not as light as the Ethiopian coffees that Frank Strauss really enjoys now. But,
oh, yay! That's awesome.
But it is very much like orange peel.
Mhm.
Somehow, there's a really nice, like, citrus acidity to it. It's very yummy.
So even though it's featherweight, it can still pack a punch, huh?
It's still... There you go.
How did we brew this today?
Well, we had a fresh start with our mocha pot, which, if you've been with us before, you know that a mocha pot has a reservoir for water, a basket for coffee, and then a spout and another reservoir at the top. It uses heat to pressure the water up through the basket, and then up further into the top coffee pot where you drink the coffee from. So it uses some of the same principles of an espresso machine. It's just not as much pressure as an espresso machine. And so what we'd always had the issue of the coffee always tasted burnt coming from it.
Yeah,
We
or
thought,
like tinny or something.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird.
just like overdone, and we could never it was like, oh, okay, fine, it's espresso. Maybe it's supposed to taste a little bit burnt. But we changed. It is not. So the fresh start that we made with the mocha pot was we ground the beans less finely. So that way, with the bigger grounds, the water doesn't get into them quite as fast. And the coffee takes a little bit more time to brew, which makes
but
it...
it's still so... It's I think our fastest method.
I just mean to get the wonderful flavors out, it takes slightly less time, which is perfect because that's about how much time it takes for the water to go all the way through the pot.
Exactly.
And so the first time we tried this last week in this way, it was like, whoa.
I gotta use that for the
Yeah,
show.
that was pretty good. It's also nice too because our mocha pot uses a little bit less beans than our other methods, and it definitely brews the fastest.
It does. It does.
It's
like
like
3 minutes flat.
Yeah, and that's from like boiling the water
Yeah.
to getting the coffee. It's really, really quick.
Otherwise, it takes us, I think, for both the French press and the Chemex, actually, and the siphon, it's probably closer to 10 minutes from water boiling to first sip.
Whereas this is really, really fast.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, cool.
Wonderful. Well, what are you singing today? I'm excited.
So my sort of fresh start here is I've done a little bit of Verdi on the show before, but this is the first time that I'm really like trying it out more so than just like fitting a theme on the show.
Which, yeah, that happens.
You know, and wanting to, you know, have a safe space and stuff like that. But I think that this is actually potentially a keeper.
An A-list?
It might be an A-list. We'll see. We'll see.
If it's long, it might be a B-list.
It's really long. It's amazing though. Anyway, so this is Rodrigo's death scene from Don Carlo, or Don Carlos, depending on which language it's in. I'm doing it in Italian. So this is, like I said, this is Verdi, but the original libretto was in French, strangely enough.
Okay.
So there are two slightly alternate versions based on the language, and then it was a piece that was so big because it's a historical opera that he tinkered around with it for a fairly long time. So it's considered late Verdi, but he worked on it for, I want to say like a decade or something like that, like a really, really long time.
Yeah.
And it's so cool to me there's a love story in it, but it's an opera about political intrigue, and kind of what's cool about that, in the fact that, well, one, it has beautiful music, but what's cool about the fact that it has all of this political intrigue is that you end up with duets and ensembles and things that you wouldn't necessarily normally see in a love opera. Like, for instance, there's a moment where King Philip of Spain and the Grand Inquisitor, they're both played by basses, and they just bellow at each other for a solid, 10 minutes. But there's a very specific, political thing that's happening in this conversation, because it's two extremely powerful people, and they can, they're not trying to give an inch. It's really, really interesting.
I'm trying to think what other operas do that, because I was thinking about the Screaming Match, and I was like, oh, Pearl Fishers, but there's no political intrigue in that.
Yeah, and there's definitely passion. The whole thing is set off because Don Carlo, who is the tenor, the main character, loves Elisabetta, and Don Carlo is Philip's son. He's the heir apparent to the Spanish Empire in the 16th century, and he's based on a historical person. He's not anywhere near the person that... He's way more heroic than the actual person, let's put it that way.
Well, you have to bump it up in an opera.
Exactly. But so he's in love with Elisabetta. In order to end a war, she ends up having to marry his father, King Philip.
Ooh.
Yeah. So it's weird.
That's
and she's not happy about it. He's not happy about it. And because of the political situation, it cemented Philip's power. And so even though he's getting very old, and it seemed like he should have abdicated and made room for Carlo to step in, he's not doing that. So Carlo is working with people from the fringes of the Spanish Empire, most notably from the Netherlands, when they were part of the Spanish Empire, to overthrow, basically perform a coup.
Oh my god. Yeah, this opera has to be 5 hours long.
It's massive. Oh. It's massive. But
how long is it?
It's 4 hours, yeah. I think. It's big. But I mean, it's so economical though. These scenes are, some of them they have a lot of depth, but they're not necessarily super huge, super long. And the music, I mean, it's a master of the craft, writing music that you feel motifs come back and stuff like that, but it's never repetitive. It's awesome.
Anything in particular we should be listening for?
In this, there's a couple of motifs. They don't actually recur during this aria, but there is sort of a fanfare in the middle of the second part that you'll hear after Rodrigo is shot. Spoiler alert. That's in the background. It's the patriotic Spanish anthem, basically. So it showed up, and as he's saying, and as it's playing in the background, he's saying to Carlo, it's your time now. You have to do this for me. You're the savior of the Spanish Empire.
No pressure.
Yeah. So the first half of the aria, he's not shot yet, and he's coming to Carlo in secret and saying, "I'm going to protect you. I'm going to back you until my dying breath." Then there's a center section that's a duet that's cut out, but during that, an assassin shows up and shoots Rodrigo in the gut, and he slowly starts to die. Slowly. Because then the second half of the aria is him saying, "Now I am dying. Even though I'm dying, I'm going to the grave with a light heart because I know that you're going to save the Spanish Empire."
Wow.
He doesn't. But that's part of the whole wonderful tragedy of this piece. So anyway, here it is.
Yeah.
Rodrigo's death scene. It's a lot. son io, mio Carlo. Felice ancor io son, se abbracciarti possio. Io ti salvai, convien qui dirci, convien qui dirci addio. O mio Carlo, per me giunto il dì supremo, non mai più ci rivedrem. Ci congiunga Iddio nel ciel, ei che premia i suoi fedel. Sul tuo ciglio il pianto io miro, lagrimar così, perché no fa cor, no fa cor estremo spiro, estremo spiro, viene a chi morrà per te. No fa cor, no fa cor estremo spiro, lieto è a chi morrà per te. Lieto è a chi morrà per te. He's shot. O Carlo, ascolta. La madre aspetta a San Giusto doman. Tutto ella sa. La terra mi manca. Carlo mio, a me porgi Roma lieto in cuore che potei così serbar alla Spagna un salvatore di me non ti scordar. Di me non ti scordar. Regnare tu dovevi ed io morir per te. Io morro lieto in cuore che potei così serbar alla Spagna un salvatore di me non ti scordar. Oh, la terra mi manca, la mano a me, oh, salva la Fiandra. Carlo, addio. Ah,
Awesome job. Yes, drink that coffee. Oh my goodness. That was quite the, I don't even know. I don't even have words for it. It sounded great.
It's such a crazy aria. It really is. And then, like, in the middle, if you do the whole thing, there's an extra, like, 4 minutes of scene in the middle, and there's an extra 2.5 minutes of recitative dialogue with Carlo at the beginning.
Plus, you're probably like this for the end.
For the end, yeah.
Right.
So usually, once the Io moro, that bit comes in, he's on the floor. Carlo is holding him up, and he's usually singing at the floor, because that's the way you can be heard over the orchestra. Yeah. It's wild.
Craziness. The things we do as singers. Well, I just want to check comments one more time. Bravo, see? Oh, there's nothing wrong with some Keurig cups. If that's what's going to get you into new coffees, it's a great way to try it. So if you know that you want to try something but you don't want to commit to a full bag, why not?
Get them K-cups.
Yeah. I think that's all the singing that we have for today.
It's all the singing I got for
honestly. Today. So that was Fresh Start. We hope you enjoyed the show, and we'll be back. I'm so excited that we're back in it.
I know, me too.
Definitely keep. As always, thank you for joining us today and every week. Invite your friends, send the YouTube channel link along and say, like, hey, this is what I've been doing. How have I been entertaining myself? Because you can go back and watch most of our shows too, which is really cool.
Yep.
So definitely check them out. Send your friends here, and we can all drink coffee and listen to music together.
Yeah.
Thank y'all so much.
Yeah, thank you.
And we will see you next week. Thanks, everybody.